Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ignorant millennials. How you guys doing? Ipleni lendile, as they say. Today, I'm rolling with a beautiful, beautiful guest. I'm rolling with a pilot. I'm rolling with Lethabo. Lethabo, ma'am, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. And how are you?
I'm doing very great. A bit intimidated by your uniform, you know. Hey, plus some of us, sometimes we can't tell the difference. I was like, is it a pilot? Is it somebody in Marine? Is it an officer of the law?
No, it's not. Don't be intimidated.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, ignorant millennials, today we'll be discussing being a pilot, what it takes to be a pilot, how much they earn, the hours, do they have a social life, can they start their own side hustles on the side? Let's find out. Yeah. Lethabo, so tell me a bit more about yourself, Lethabo. What made you want to become a pilot?
So, growing up, I grew up in a family that was very around the aviation space. Mm-hmm. So, my aunt worked for SAA as cabin crew.
Yes.
My other aunt worked as cabin crew for British Airways. And my brother currently works for ComAir. So, growing up, I initially wanted to become cabin crew, not necessarily a pilot. And then as I went through high school, I wanted to become an aircraft engineer. And then my marks weren't great in terms of science and maths.
Yes.
So my parents, they just sat down and they suggested, why don't you just become a pilot? Sure. I started researching, went to open days, and it was like, okay, this is what I want to do.
Okay, so you have quite a bit like an aviation background in terms of like from family and everybody else. Definitely. So like, you look very young. Like, I know I said, tell me about yourself, and I shot straight into why you became a pilot. But how old are you and what are your interests?
Yeah, I'm quite young. I'm 20.
Okay.
I'm 20 years old, but I finished matric when I was 17. So I've been out of school for 3 years.
Okay.
And I've had my license for a year now.
A year now. Oh, okay. So then take me back then. Like, okay, so then when you were in high school, after you just completed high school, what did you find out? Like, okay, in order to become a pilot, what are the subjects? What is required for me to springboard into that career?
So in terms of a pilot career, there's no set base for subjects.
Yes.
And I learned that when I was in grade 11 and I went to my first open day.
Yes.
So usually what flight schools do is they recommend.
Okay.
But it's not a must.
Yes.
So personally, I did maths, physics, which consisted of physics and chemistry.
Yes.
And I did art because I was very in the artistic world as well. I was dancing, I loved drawing, I loved painting at the time.
Okay.
But I do regret that decision. I wish I did geography.
Oh, okay.
So I recommend if anyone's looking to do their pilot's license, take maths, physics. If your school cuts it, they break, because I know some schools you can choose chemistry or physics. Do physics and then take geography as well.
Okay, so
that's the best.
So this
option.
is pure maths, not literacy.
You can take maths literacy because it's not really. It's just 2 + 2. If you know how to use a scientific calculator, as long as
Okay, so then how did you go about the search? Did you find like different aviation schools, and how many aviation schools actually exist?
So because I live close to Rand Airport, we started there. That was our main base.
Yes.
And when we got to Rand Airport, there was one specific school that I wanted to go to, and that was Lethabo. Lethabo, I had researched before, and I had known how they started, their fleet of aircraft, how many instructors, because that's very important, how established a flight school is. The more established a flight school is, the better, you're going to get quality education from that flight school. So I started there, and I had a briefing with one of the chief flight instructors, and they broke down the course to me, and that was when I was like, okay, I want to go here.
Okay.
Yeah, and just to make sure, I went to another flight school, Johannesburg School of Flying, right across, and I was just set. After that, I was like, okay, now I've made sure I actually want to go to Lethabo.
Okay.
So yeah.
So is there such a thing, like with universities, we go like, Wits is the best or ICT is the best. because there's a world ranking of the best universities. Are there similar stuff in aviation?
There is. So a lot of the people, the highest ranking I would say is 43A school, which is based in Port Alfred. That is one of the best, if not the best. And then as we rank down, we do Lethabo in Vonnegut, and then Johannesburg School of Flying, which is at Rand Airport. Safoma is also in Rand Airport, and then Elite Aviation Academy, which was changed over by Lethabo at the time when I started.
And
so the name
does that give you like a benefit or an advantage rather in terms of, because you know, like as like with universities, like it's like if you went to VETS or you went to UCT or you went to UP, and when you apply for a job from straight being a graduate, you're more likely to get employment than the other person. Does that exist in aviation, or it's just, listen, you have your license, it's all go. British Airways is open for you as well. They're not gonna be like, you went to that aviation school.
No, it's not like that. Unfortunately, it's not like that.
Fortunately.
Unfortunately, if you go to the best school, it's still going to be the same. If you go to a less established school, it's still going to be the same. The main base of applying for airline is your qualification. How many hours have you flied? How much experience do you have? You know, how many ratings do you have? How diverse is your knowledge in terms of the aviation space? That's what they look at. And that's the best you can do.
Okay, so then now you've identified which school you wanna go to. I'm sure you're there with your parents. You're like, hey, you're looking at those prices. What are those prices? What is their reaction?
The prices. So let's start with the best. So 43A that I told you about just now from in Port Alfred. They do an integrated airline transport pilot's license. To do that will set you back between 1.2 and 1.4 million.
Oh my word.
1.2 and 1.4 million. And it will take you about 2 to 3 years. But with the integrated ATP, you're guaranteed to get into an airliner because you'll have all those multi-engine hours, you'll have all the experience, you'll have all those hours, but it will set you back a lot. And a lot of people who have to go to 43, they're mainly funded. They have bursaries, they have sponsors, they have, you know, so it's not easy for a normal person just to go to 43.
Okay.
In terms of my case and the average, this is average of everyone. This is how it usually works. To do a private pilot's license, it will set you back 90,000, 90K.
Per year?
Or for the whole license. Okay. It will set you back 90K. To do a commercial, it will set you back between 350K to 400K, depending on whether you're doing multi-instrument rating commercial pilot's license or you're just going to do a VFR commercial pilot's license.
Okay. I wonder before we delve into like the different licensing and so forth, are they bursaries? Because those figures are quite... And how easy is it for one to get a bursary?
It's very difficult to get a bursary. I'm not going to lie. It's very, very difficult. I would probably say about 15% of people are actually funded. Between 50 and 20% of people are funded. Because it's very, very difficult. They don't take a lot of students. And there's not a lot of people that fund the aviation industry because companies know how expensive it is. So the main bursary we have to apply for is the CAA bursary, and they give you 300K straight. And then also TITA bursary, they give you 150 for commercial pilot's license. Okay,
that's quite a large sum of money.
And it's not even gonna help because it's not enough. You know, so you'll probably have to reapply to get more money, or you're gonna have to see another funder to help you or get a loan, personal loan, student. A lot of people have student loans. That's how they complete their licenses.
Okay. So then you were talking about the licensing. Tell me about the different licensing. How does it work? Do I have to be this type of pilot before I can move on to this type of pilot and everything else? So
it starts, your base is a student pilot's license, which is 1 bar. And then you get a private pilot's license, which is 2 bars, which I'm wearing now.
She's not talking about millions. She's talking about these buses.
Yes, these bars.
Yes.
These ones.
Yes.
And then 3 bars is a commercial pilot's license.
Yes.
And then 4 bars is an airline transport pilot's license.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So it's broken down like that. But you also get drone pilots.
Yes.
They have to get a drone license. You get microlight pilots.
Yes.
You get private pilots, obviously, and then you get the airline pilots.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how it's basically.
Okay, so then let's talk about the journey that you are on currently.
Yeah.
So you say currently you have a private
pilot's
pilot.
license,
Yes.
yes.
So then, what's the next step from? How long does it take to get that, and what is the next step?
So to get a private license, it is easy if you're financially stable. If you do it full time, you can get your private pilot's license between 6 and 8 months.
Yes.
But it took me 12 to 18 months because I didn't have funding for
Yes.
about 8 months.
Oh, sorry
to
to hear
fly.
that. Yes.
So I had to write all my exams and then I had to stop. And then I had to just wait it out. And then I started flying and then I got my license.
Hold up. So you have to. So apart from the, let's say it's 350,000, right? You still need to also pay to fly.
Yes, you do.
So in actual fact, it costs you more than 350,000.
Yeah, it's included in that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
oh,
in
yes.
that 350,
Yo,
it's
I was
included.
about to say.
Yeah. No, it's included in that. Between 350 and 400, it's included with the flying.
So this is like a normal type of school where, you know, Monday you have a lecture or you have something at 8 o'clock.
No, not
you have a
even.
tutorial. You have homework or something like that.
no.
Or you have semester test or something like that.
Not even.
How does it work?
It's completely different.
Yes.
It's very, very different. It's like, you know, in school you always said you have homework for Monday, you have homework for Friday,
Yes.
you have a project, you have an assignment.
Yes.
In the aviation industry, it's you. Everything is on you.
Okay.
So basically what you have to do is you attend briefings to write a technical exam to see if you have knowledge of an aircraft. You know, the instructor will teach you. And then from there, you have to start studying your subject. So your instructor, you get assigned an instructor for your whole private pilot's license journey.
Okay.
So your instructor will say, you have to write 2 subjects before we fly. So you'll choose, okay, I'll write air law and radio.
Okay.
And then you go to instructor, show him your coaching report,
Yes.
and then you'll fly for about a month.
Yeah.
And then you have to come back, and then your instructor will say, you have to write another 2 exams before we start flying again. And you write those 2 exams until you pass them, you come back. That's how it usually works.
When you say fly, you flying like alone or are you flying people or what's happening?
You're flying with your instructor.
Yes.
Yes, which is your teacher.
Okay.
Yes, they teaching you exercises. You get an exercise book and they'll teach you, okay, today we're going to learn how to fly in a turn.
Yes.
Today we're going to learn how to stall the aircraft.
Yes.
Today we're going to learn how to do precautionary landings.
Yeah.
Today we're going to learn how to do, gliding exercises.
So it's more, so you'd say aviation is more practical than theoretical.
Yes.
It's like you go, they teach you maybe those buttons. Pela, I used to think DJs that deal with a lot of buttons. Then you see that thing like, hey.
It's like that. It's basically like that. It's more practical than theoretical.
Yes.
Because once you're done with the theoretical, you don't touch it anymore.
Yes.
You touch the theoretical in terms of law and in terms of the theoretical parts of the exercise.
Yes.
How you do it. So how you execute it, and then once you fly and you remember, okay, I wrote notes about that. You know how to hold the control column, where your throttle must be, your mixture, how it's set.
Yeah.
You see things like
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Okay. So, but you don't find yourself in awkward situations where, what does this button do? But you know, even from driving a car, like your tire pressure, some people still get lost checking their tire pressure. So with you guys, is there pressure to remember everything? And are those dials the same? Like in a 747, no matter which 747 I am in, the cockpit will always look like this and whatever. Is it like that as well?
No, it's not like that. So I actually had a situation when I was still a student.
Yes.
When I had to taxi an aircraft from the hangar
Yes.
to the bay.
Yes.
So I was not familiar with this aircraft. It was
Yes.
new, and I didn't even know how to start it. And I was like, and I had to call my instructor, and I had to be like, I've never flown this aircraft, so I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And what they do is you just climb in the instructor's car, they drop you off, and they leave.
Sure.
So you're alone. So I had to call, and the instructor had to walk me through. Look, it's there, and I couldn't find the radio button as well because the aircraft was set in a different way. It was the same aircraft type, but the cockpit was completely different.
Okay.
And yet I had to familiarize myself with that cockpit. So in terms of airline cockpits as well, they're not the same.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
So then on average then how like if I'm straight from maybe like high school or even like I've done high school, I want to change careers. How long would it take me for me to become a commercial pilot?
Commercial pilot. So a commercial pilot, you can complete the course within 3 years.
Okay.
You can become a commercial pilot if you complete the course you can complete it within 3 years if you do it full time.
Okay.
Yeah. If you do it part time, it will take you a bit more longer, 4 to 5 years.
Okay.
But between 3 and 4 is a good
Good.
estimate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So then let's talk about also in terms of employability, right? So how easy, like with a private plane? I mean, sorry, those P's. What do they call it? Alliteration in English or something? Yes. So how easy is it for me to find a job? Like that seems very niche, eh?
As a PPL holder,
yes,
very, very low.
Very
low. So what I work as a sales assistant for the flight school.
Okay.
I work within admin and sales.
Okay.
So, but that doesn't mean, I had to have a qualification to do that. You know, it's just a good knowledge base to do that. But as a PPL student, a lot of the PPL holders, they work in flight schools as receptionists, as operational managers. You don't actually have the job of flying people or flying an aircraft. You fly the aircraft privately on your basis.
Okay.
So if you want to go to Sun City with your friends, or your friends will pitch in 150, or not 150, that's not realistic. So let's say 500. And the aircraft takes 4 people. Then you guys all pitch and you pay that rate to fly to Sun City and back. That's what it entails to be a private pilot. So you can't earn any remuneration from being a private pilot, but people can pay the rate to fly in the aircraft. And then you'll just fly them.
Okay.
So you don't have any expenses in a way.
Okay. So then being a commercial pilot and so forth, how is employability? Is it like straight fresh from graduation I can get? Is there graduate programs? Or do you also have those struggles? We're looking for somebody with 3 years experience, but you're like, but how? How am I supposed to find a job?
There is that struggle. It's very tough. So once you get your commercial license, obviously you have a higher chance than a PPL holder, but it's a bit less than having an airline transport pilot's license. So it's better what everyone does when they're done with a commercial pilot's license. It's either they go into contract work. So they do contract flying for private charters, bush flying, people who go to the Kruger National, Namibia, Botswana, or they become instructors. That's the best way to do it. So when you become an instructor, you literally fly and get those hours from the students' rate money, if that makes sense. And you earn commission from it. You get a base and commission on top of that.
Well, since we're talking about the moolah, let's get straight into it. So then, what are the salary expectations you would say? Because from what we see in movies and whatever, pilots have a lavish life. They have double-story houses and everything else.
Yeah, they do. And to what you can expect from being an airline transport pilot, you will earn between 380 and 500K annually.
Okay.
That will vary. You can you can earn between 30 and 50K a month.
Yes.
Depending on how much you fly.
Yes.
Remember, in the airline industry, they pay you for how many hours you're in the sky.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And how many hours you work on standby.
Yes. Okay.
So it depends. That's why there's a variety between 30 and 50K as a airline transport pilot's license. A license holder.
Okay.
If you're an instructor, instructors have a base salary of 1.5, between 1.5 to 3,000.
Okay.
And then they'll earn the commission from training the students on top of that.
Oh, okay.
In a good month,
Yeah.
an instructor can earn between 10 and 12,000.
Okay.
In a good month.
Okay. Now that's actually very decent. So
Yeah.
then, like, if I'm like 5 years of experience and so forth, can I look at like a bar earning $1 million? Is that realistic?
Not really.
Okay.
It like you can set that expectation, but if you're working for a really well-established airliner and you're doing more than just being a pilot, so you can become their safety officer on top of that, or you can work in the training sector on top of that. So it depends.
Okay. So then, like, what does it take to become a captain?
What does it take? A lot of flying. A lot of flying hours. A lot of flying hours and a lot of ratings and experience.
Yes.
Yeah. It takes a lot of flying hours. It's mainly based on that. So you'll see when you enter into a airline job, mainly a lot of people, they become first officer.
Yes.
And then within a year or two, after they've flown experienced, they'll change and fly a bigger aircraft. Then they'll gain more hours. Then they'll fly a bigger aircraft as a first officer, gain more hours. Then they'll go back down to a smaller aircraft as a captain. And then they'll go up as a captain. And then they go bigger aircraft as a captain. But it's not set like that. You never know, you know. Maybe you'll have the grace of God and then you'll just go straight up as a captain, you know, in a bigger aircraft. But, you know, usually that's how you expect for it to go.
Okay, so but the 1 million. It's there.
It's there.
That's brilliant. That's great to hear.
You never know. You never know. Yeah, it's there.
Since we're on that topic, let's talk about other like fringe benefits. Like, look, I had an encounter with a air hostess who worked at Etihad, I think. So so basically, it seemed like you guys just get like these visas, like it's like a global visa type of stuff where you can just. Like if they say, listen, you need it for a flight to London, you can just go there same time and whatever without the normal visa application. Is it like that?
Yeah, it is like that. So basically, if you work in an airliner, you'll be subject to a crew visa.
Yes.
But also depending on under what authority you fly and which country you go to, some countries require a actual normal visa. So the countries will give crew a long-term visa rather than a short-term visa.
Okay.
And then you'll just renew it depending on how you bid for your airline routes. But that's how it works. The main base is a crew visa.
Okay. Can you use it for personal reasons?
Not necessarily, but because obviously crew don't check in and go through immigration like we do.
Oh, okay.
It's not the same.
All right. Hey, these are nice fringe benefits. Also, are you like for like a flight, you can take a +1 like as a passenger? Let's just say like you and I are married and whatever, and like because you know being in the air, you guys are gone like for some time there. So is there such fringe benefits?
There is. So depending on which airliner you fly with, usually there's family benefits. You can load a spouse and a child onto the system, and they will pay probably taxes on so that's how they work. You only pay taxes for your flight tickets. And I know with Emirates, they give a free flight for your family to come visit you once a year, if I'm not mistaken. And then you also get a free flight to go back home. Depending on with what type of contract you get, but that's the knowledge that I have.
Okay, these are like benefits.
Yeah, you also get crew benefits like transport. You get pocket money, get food, my food money.
Yeah.
You get access to hotels at a special rate. You get access to gyms.
I think it all makes
yeah,
sense.
it does.
Because with this encounter, this lady, like, I kid you not,
Yeah,
like,
they
she
do,
was like, now we can go anywhere. It's all on
they
me.
do,
I
they
was shocked. I was like, you just made me.
Yeah, they get a lot of, of like discounted things, and not just in the aviation space, but like everywhere. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So then, like, can you fly a helicopter?
No, you cannot do that. And I get this question so many times where people are like, oh no, I want to go on a helicopter, and I'm like, sorry, I can't help you. It's a completely different system to fly. The aerodynamics are completely different.
Yes.
But what you are able to do is convert a percentage of your hours into your license. You're able to do that, but you still have to go through the whole training process.
Okay.
You have to still write the exams and everything. Yeah.
Oh,
it's a completely different thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know about roughly how much that costs and everything?
A helicopter license will set you back probably about 200K for PPL, 6,000 per hour for a helicopter. It's triple what you pay for a PPL.
Yeah.
For us, we pay 2,000 an hour.
Yeah.
They pay 6,000 an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
So then let's just rewind to like 2020, this year and everything else. COVID. How has COVID been for people in aviation generally?
Very tough for a lot of people. I've heard a lot of stories.
Yes.
The saddest stories of people who work for SAA.
Yes.
They literally gone through a lot. They are very diluted in the system, and they can't get work anymore because no one's hiring anyone anymore.
Sure.
Everyone is trying to cut back on costs.
Yes.
So, I think they're struggling the most. But in terms of flight schools, they are still busy. In terms of writing, we are still writing.
Yes.
So it is effective. It has affected us, but not that major.
Okay.
And what was unfortunate during lockdown was that they opened the commercial aviation industry, but us, under the general aviation industry, we were locked down. We couldn't fly for quite a while.
Yes, sure.
And we had to fight for that.
Yes.
And eventually Figile, was like, okay, no, it's fine. We can open the general aviation space.
Sure. Yeah, no, that must have been quite a traumatic experience because this thing only happens once every, like a pandemic, once every 100 years.
I know.
So it's not something that
Who would have thought?
that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we've already talked about the hours and everything else. So you would say on average, how many hours would a commercial pilot fly on average?
Yeah. On average, they fly 74 hours in a month. 74 hours will consist of 2 to 3 weeks, and then they have the last week of the month off. Or they'll work 2 weeks, the last week they'll work standby.
Yes.
So depending if they call you in, if they don't call you in. But that's how it usually works. So they'll work the full 2 to 3 weeks, and then they have like the last week of the month off.
Okay.
And then they work on a cycle basis as well. And also depending on which routes you want to fly.
Yes.
So as cabin crew, and as flight deck crew as well, you guys can bid for routes.
Yes.
So if you've flown to China, but your friend has never flown to China, you guys can bid. So your friend can bid for your route, and then you'll fly her route.
So
that's also with pilots, same thing. You guys can bid for routes.
Yes.
But that's also depending on availability. So if you're bidding for routes, that might change your flight schedule.
That's actually very perfect, very perfect. So we're about to wrap it up. I just have like 2 or 3 other questions. I just wanted to find out, so in terms of the industry itself, like aviation, specifically being a pilot and everything else, demographics, let's talk gender, let's talk race, let's talk age.
Yeah. So in terms of age, a lot of men, between white men, between the ages of 40 and 60.
Yes.
That's the main demographic of aviation.
Okay.
Then you get black men between 40 and 50, also into the aviation industry in terms of airliners.
Yes.
And then females between 30 and 40 will probably make up about 5 to 10% of the industry.
Yeah.
But mainly that will be also white females included.
Okay.
And then it comes to the private pilot sector.
Yes.
Mainly 20 to 30 years old.
Yes.
Major percentage, 70% white.
Yes.
We'll say 5% white female.
Yes.
10% black male, and then we'll say between 3 and 5% black female as well.
Okay.
Black females are the least
Yes.
in the industry, and it's bad.
Sure.
It's very bad. I mean, when I was writing 2 weeks ago, I was the only black girl.
What?
And I was the only girl, and I was the only black girl.
That's hectic.
The rest were men,
Yes.
and they were all,
Yes.
between 20 and 40.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So you had a moment where you felt like, I could crash this plane. Like, were you a nervous moment?
Yeah.
Even as a driver driving a vehicle, you're like, I thought I was going to crash there.
Yeah.
Have you had that as well?
Yeah, I had that moment when I was with my instructor.
Yes.
We were doing a flight practical before my private pilot's license test. And we were in the general flying area, and we were practicing stalls, and the aircraft engine just cut. It just stopped. And then I looked at my instructor and I was like, what's going on? And the aircraft was full throttle, the mixture was full, and then the engine just wasn't running. It was just stopping.
Oh my word.
And then she closed the throttle, open again, the prop starts going, and then it cuts again. And then we literally, I don't know what she did. She cut the throttle, opened again, and then we just flew back home. We were just like, we're not going to risk it. I don't even know how we got back to the airport, but we did. And I was literally like, okay, if that was my moment to die, I'm glad I'm still alive. I don't know. I was very, very scared. Because when a moment like that happens and it's not practiced, it's not like an exercise, because these exercises really intentionally put you in that situation. But that wasn't intentional. That was just like, okay, why? What's going on?
Sure, you had a drink after that.
Yeah, I did. I remember going home and I was like, yo, mama. And you won't believe what just happened. It was crazy.
Do you guys take life insurance, or does the company take life insurance on you guys' life?
Yeah,
okay.
you do.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm as I know I've been saying, I'm wrapping it up.
Yeah.
But like, I just want to find out, like, because this could help the next person who's watching this video, who's considering this career. Yeah. So it's like an interview type of question. Sorry to put you on the spot.
No,
but what is your roadmap for yourself in the next 5 to 10 years?
What's my roadmap?
Yes.
Okay.
In your career, like what ideally you would like to happen.
So within the next year, a year and year and a half, I'm hoping I'll be done with my commercial pilots.
Yes.
By January 2022,
Yes.
I want to be done with my commercial pilot's
Yes.
license. Not January 2022 mid.
Yes.
I want to hopefully be, bidding to get work.
Yes.
Mainly contract work. I
Yes.
don't want to do instructing work.
Yes.
I want to work on a contract basis.
Okay.
And once I get all that experience from contract work,
Yes.
hopefully I can be working for our regional airliners within the next 2-3 years.
Okay.
Honestly, yeah.
Okay. So you want to stay local? You don't
No,
wanna...
I'm not going to stay local, no. Within the next 5 years, I'll probably be overseas. Yeah.
Okay.
Probably overseas.
Nah, that's beautiful. That's great to hear. Then I don't know if there's any closing remarks and advice you'd like to give to somebody who's trying to get into aviation from your side.
Yeah. I just wanted to say, for anyone looking to enter the aviation industry and aviation space, it is possible. It's very possible. If you have the passion, don't do it because your parents want you to do it or you advise that, you get paid a lot of money once you're done with it. Because if you take that route, you're not going to finish and you're not going to get your commercial pilot's license. Because there has been a lot of dropouts because they don't have that passion.
Yeah.
And, money is, honestly, as much as it's a main factor, it's not a setback. There's a lot of people you can reach out to, private companies, not just companies in the aviation industry, but private law firms or, transport firms that can assist you in terms of funding.
Yeah.
And don't push yourself to finish quickly, if you pressured for money, wait it out, you know, spend that money wisely, study if you have to wait, you know, buy a book and study an exam, you know, but you can do it in the end. You can get your licenses. And it is possible, because we need a lot of more black women, black men, young people in terms of diversity as well, to bring a new thinking into the aviation industry, which is very important, because it's changing. You know, Lyft just started and they brought a new business.
Airline as well.
They just bought a new business thinking that's gonna probably drop airline sales for other airliners. So we need that fresh thinking as pilots as well. So that's my advice.
Now, thank you very much for joining us, Ignorant Millennials. I think as she was also speaking, one of the things that I think about is that in as much as you say 350, 90,000 for your classes and everything else, but if you really look at it, this is for the duration of the whole course. If you go into university and you're going to spend 3 or 4 years studying whatever, in retrospect, it amounts to literally the same thing. So it's actually not expensive. It's just that, yes, it's expensive because now you need that much of money in a shorter time frame. Then over like 4 to 5 years. So now definitely, and thank you very much for joining us, Lethabo.
I enjoyed it.
Ignorant Millennials, this is me and Lethabo signing out. We out.